At the beginning of the movie, we see a police officer chasing a thief. After a long chase, he finally catches him. The officer's name is Tony. Then, we see a thug getting on a bus. He forcefully makes an elderly lady vacate her seat so he can sit there. The other passengers just keep staring at him silently, not saying a word. A girl sitting at the back is recording everything on her phone. The thug notices her and threatens her, saying, "If you want to keep your phone safe, quietly turn off the camera. Understand?" Meanwhile, a man named Jiang-Soo is also sitting nearby, watching the thug quietly. The thug notices him too and arrogantly says, "Oi, why are you staring at me? Want me to break your arms and legs?" Jiang-Soo quickly stands up looking nervous and apologizes. "Sorry, sir, my mistake." But in his mind, he thinks, "No matter what you do, my stop has arrived. I'm getting off anyway," he adds. "So move aside." And with that, he gets off the bus. The girl walks up to him and says, "Sir, your t-shirt says gym trainer, but you didn't say a single word when that injustice happened on the bus. You just got off like it was nothing." He calmly replies, "Look, it's not my job to fight against injustice," and walks away. Right then, she slaps him hard on the back and runs off. But even after that, Jiang-Soo doesn't react at all. In the next scene, we see Jiang-Soo in his gym teaching martial arts to a group of young kids. Suddenly, he gets a phone call from a doctor. The doctor tells him that a donor has been found. Hearing this, Jiang-Soo is overjoyed. He shouts with happiness. He's been trying to find a donor for his daughter's heart transplant, and now, finally, they found one. But the doctor also says, "The donor's available, but you'll need to arrange the money right away." Jiang-Soo says, "You know what? You're like a god to me. Just get ready for the surgery. I'll sell the gym and bring all the money back." Meanwhile, Tony goes to see his girlfriend, Tina, who sells fish at the market. She tells him she'll only come with him after she sold all her fish. So Tony quietly steps outside, finds a woman nearby, gives her some money and says, "Please do me a favor. Buy all the fish from that girl for me." The woman does exactly that, and once the fish are all gone, Tina happily leaves with Tony. And the funny part, this happens every single day. Right now, Jiang-Soo is taking a bath. Meanwhile, his little daughter Olivia is in the room holding a stuffed toy and pretending to fight with it. She clearly loves rough play, but Jiang-Soo has strictly told her not to jump around because she has a weak heart. When Jiang-Soo comes out of the bathroom, Olivia suddenly stands still acting all innocent. He asks, "What are you doing?" And she replies, "Nothing. I've been standing here quietly for a long time." But Jiang-Soo quickly figures out what she was really doing. He scolds her, saying, "How many times have I told you not to play like this? Your heart is weak." Olivia gets sad. Then Jiang-Soo gently explains, "Once your surgery is done, you'll be totally fine. After that, you can play as much as you want." Hearing this, Olivia finally smiles again. Next, Jiang-Soo helps her get ready for school. A few years ago, his wife passed away, so he's been raising Olivia all by himself since then. When they reach school, Olivia suddenly starts to run, but Jiang-Soo quickly stops her and tells her to walk slowly. Olivia listens and begins walking carefully. Meanwhile, at a police station, a man storms in and starts yelling at an officer named Tony. He shouts, "It's been days since I filed the complaint, but you still haven't found my dog." But Tony stays calm and replies, "Sir, please give us a little more time. We'll definitely find your dog." That night, Tony goes out himself to search for the dog. While looking around, he reaches near the harbor, and there he spots something shocking. A group of men are kidnapping young girls and taking them somewhere. Tony follows their car all the way to a tunnel, only to find Jiang-Soo already standing there. Tony says he needs to check the car, but Jiang-Soo stops him and says, "Look, I'm just a gym trainer. I'm not who you think I am." And with that, he gets in the car and drives off. The next day, Jiang-Soo drops Olivia off at school, but Tony notices something strange. Olivia doesn't go inside the school. Instead, she walks into a nearby building. Still, Tony decides to ignore it for now, because he needs to follow Jiang-Soo. That's more important right now. He keeps following the car until it stops right in front of a gym. Tony quickly snaps a photo of it, but before he can leave, Jiang-Soo spots him and walks over, clearly annoyed. He asks, "What are you doing near my car?" Tony doesn't say a word and just walks away. Later, while shopping at the supermarket, Tony spots a few men walking past. He recognizes them. They're from the same club, the same gang that picked up those girls last night. Tony was out and thinking about following their car, but by the time he decided, it had already passed. Later that same night, Tony goes out drinking with his friends. While walking, he accidentally dropped some apples from his hand. Around the same time, Jiang-Soo walks down the same path with his daughter, but Jiang-Soo doesn't help pick up the apples. Tony points this out to his friend Michael and says, "Look how far this guy has gone all the way to Katak. I think he's involved in something shady. I keep seeing his car around." Michael, who's a police officer himself, replies, "I know him. He's a decent guy, really saintly. He runs a gym and never gets involved in anyone else's business." That night, Tony goes to the same supermarket and waits there, hoping to catch that gang. Just then, Jiang Su shows up outside the club talking on the phone. Tony quietly starts following him, but suddenly he hears a girl scream. Then, Tony leaves Jiang Su behind and follows the voice. As he gets closer, he sees a few guys from the club beating up a girl. While they're attacking her, the girl quickly throws her phone into the bushes. Tony sees everything, but he can't step in. There are too many of them. The gang keeps torturing the girl, demanding to know where her phone is. That's when Tony realizes the phone must have something important on it. Quietly, he sneaks over and picks it up without anyone noticing. Later, Tony and Michael connect the phone to a computer and check it. What they discover shocks them. The gang has kidnapped several girls, and this one had secretly recorded a video of them. That's why they were after her. Just then, Tony gets a phone call. Tony had been planning to buy a house, and today he's finally getting the keys. He's excited and heads out to pick them up. But just then, Michael calls him and asks him to come to a nearby parking lot. Apparently, they found some important evidence there. So, Tony changes his plan for a bit and goes to check it out. Meanwhile, we see Jiang Su buying a toy for his daughter. But when he returns, his car is gone. Instead, there's a notice stuck where the car was parked. It says that his car has been towed, and he needs to go to the police station to collect it. Jiang Su is furious. He knows he parked legally. Then he suddenly spots Tony nearby, and he starts thinking, why does this guy keep messing with my car? What's his deal? Without saying a word, Jiang Su charges after him. Tony reaches the parking lot, just like his friend Michael had told him. But when he gets there, Michael is nowhere to be seen. Instead, a gang shows up. They beat Tony and demand to know where the memory card is. Somehow Tony manages to escape, but as he's running, he gets hit by a car. Then Michael arrives, but shockingly, he's working with the gang. He angrily scolds them, saying, I only told you to get the memory card from him. Why did you try to kill him now? Right then Jiang Su shows up too, but the gang tries to attack Jiang Su as well, and then they run away. An ambulance arrives, and both Tony and Jiang Su are rushed to the hospital. Poor Tony falls into a coma. But here's the shocking part. Tony's soul leaves his body. His soul is extremely worried, thinking, what's going to happen to me now? Will I survive or not? He appears in front of people and asks, can you see me? The next morning, Jiang Su regains consciousness and tries to sit up. The nurse quickly steps in and says, hey, take it slow. You've got a serious head injury. He wants to meet his daughter, but then finds out that she was sitting with her father all night. Jiang Su tells her, you shouldn't stay up all night, sweetheart. Let me do one thing. I'll send you to my friend's place. He'll take good care of you. As Jiang Su steps out of the room, he suddenly bumps into someone. It's Tony's spirit. Without realizing at first, Jiang Su says, watch where you're going. And that's the moment we find out. Jiang Su can actually see Tony's ghost. Tony is stunned. He walks right up to Jiang Su and asks, wait, you can see me? But Jiang Su gets irritated. What kind of question is that? He snaps. Don't ever come in front of me again. He tries to push Tony out of the way, but his hand goes straight through Tony's body. And the second he realizes what just happened, he faints on the spot. When Jiang Su regains consciousness, Tony's spirit is standing right next to him. Jiang Su, who's sitting beside him, turns to the nurse and asks, can you see this man standing here? But the nurse looks confused and replies, hey sir, there's no one else here except you and me. I think you might be seeing things, probably because of the head injury you suffered. Tony tries to speak. My soul left my body. Please help me, he says desperately. But Jen, who gets scared and backs away, unsure of what's going on. Meanwhile, Michael, who's secretly involved with a gang, arrives at the hospital to check on Tony. He tells Tina to look after him and adds, if he wakes up, let me know. And if anything seems off, especially if he says something about a memory card, call me immediately. That memory card holds important evidence in a serious case. Just then, Michael's phone rings. He checks it, but quickly disconnects the call. Now, Tony's soul, still outside his body, has seen the truth. He realizes his own friend, Michael, is part of something criminal. So Tony decides to follow him. Michael heads to a secret location where he meets the gang's boss, who shockingly turns out to be the police chief himself. The same man who's supposed to uphold the law is running a dark, illegal operation. He's involved in kidnapping girls and trafficking them. The chief asks him, did you find the memory card? Michael replies, no sir, not yet. Meanwhile, Tony is still in a coma, but his soul is determined to expose the truth. The police chief threatens Michael, warning him not to come back without the memory card. He tells him, if you show up without it, I won't let you live. Michael quickly leaves. Later, the corrupt police chief's men arrive to kidnap Jiang Su because he had also been there that day. They believe Jiang Su might know something about the missing memory card. When Tony sees them, he immediately runs to warn Jiang Su. He's worried the gang might be coming to kill him, but Jiang Su is still scared and doesn't want to listen to anything Tony has to say. Suddenly, the gang attacks Jiang Su, but he fights them off and manages to escape. That's when he finally believes Tony was telling the truth. Tony even helped save Jiang Su from the gang. That night, Tony's spirit sits quietly beside his unconscious body. Tina is heartbroken. Tony is in a coma, and earlier that day, she took a pregnancy test. It came back positive. She's pregnant. She shows him the report and says, "Please wake up. Look at this. You're going to be a father. I'm really scared to be alone. Please just come back to me." Poor Tina gets emotional. And even Tony, well, his soul, feels moved seeing how much she cares about him. Just then, Tina notices a memory card lying nearby. She picks it up and thinks about calling Tony's friend Michael to tell him about it. But Tony suddenly panics and yells, "No, don't tell him. He's a traitor." Unfortunately, no one can hear Tony except Jiang Su. Meanwhile, Jiang Su gets a call from his friend. Olivia is missing. Scared, Jiang Su rushes out to search for her, but Tony appears again, pleading, "Please tell my girlfriend not to tell Michael about the memory card." But Jiang Su is deeply worried about his daughter. And right now, he's in no condition to help Tony. He searches everywhere for Olivia, but she's nowhere to be found. That's when Tony says, "I saw your daughter heading toward a building near the school. She didn't actually go inside the school." When they rush over to that building, they find Olivia lying there unconscious. Turns out she had been drawing something, and it looks like she suddenly felt pain in her chest and passed out. Jiang Su immediately rushes her to the hospital. The doctors tell him that if they don't operate right away, it'll be really hard to save Olivia. Poor Jiang Su is completely shattered. He feels helpless, like there's nothing he can do for his daughter. And just then, Tony's spirit appears and quietly sits beside him. That's when we get a flashback from Jiang Su's past. Actually, the Jiang Su we've seen so far never helped anyone, but there's a reason for that, which we learn in a flashback. One day, Jiang Su was traveling with his family early in the morning, before the sun had even risen. While driving, he noticed a car overturned on the side of the road. Without thinking twice, he stopped his car and ran over to help. He managed to pull one man out safely, but he thought there might be someone else still trapped inside. Just as he was trying to rescue the second person, a truck came speeding from the opposite direction and crashed straight into Jiang Su's parked car. In that terrible accident, Jiang Su's wife lost her life, and his daughter Olivia suffered a serious heart injury. Back in the present, Jiang Su says, "If I hadn't stopped to help that man that day, my wife would still be alive and my daughter wouldn't be in this condition." Since then, he's completely stoppage getting involved in anything, even if someone needs help. At that moment, Tina hands the memory card to Michael. Michael is heartbroken that Tony is in a coma. Deep down, he's also furious at the police chief and his men. They left Tony barely alive, just for the sake of a memory card. Suddenly, Tony throws a punch at Michael, but instead of hitting him, his fist flies past and slams into a nearby dust bin, making it shake. Tony, who hadn't been able to touch anything until now, is shocked. He actually moved it. And because he used all his strength, something strange starts happening in his body. His heartbeat begins to change. Meanwhile, the doctor tells Tina that Tony's condition is getting worse by the day. Tina is devastated. Just the thought of losing Tony breaks her. She starts remembering all the beautiful moments they had together. At the same time, Tony follows her, but out of nowhere, a gang appears, grabs Tina, and shoves her into a car. Poor Tony feels completely helpless. At the same time, Jiang Su is stressed out because he still hasn't managed to gather the money needed for his daughter Olivia's surgery. And to make things even worse, the donor heart has now been given to someone else. Meanwhile, Tony is desperately trying to save Tina. He asks Jiang Su for help, but Jiang Su just stays silent. Tony, disappointed, starts to walk away, but then Jiang Su stops him and agrees to help. Tony had memorized the number of the vehicle involved, and using that, he was able to trace its location. They soon discover that Tina has been tied up by none other than the police chief. Turns out Michael, who blames the police chief for everything that happened to Tony, had flat out refused to give the memory card back. So, the police chief's men kidnap Tina to pressure Michael into handing it over. Now Jiang Su, his friend, and Tony all rush to the harbor together. They press a lever to open the way, but suddenly, snow starts falling from above. Looks like they pulled the wrong one. Tony heads inside and finds Tina. In one of the rooms, he also sees a group of girls who were kidnapped by the police chief. He quickly tells Jiang Su, and then fights off the police chief's men to rescue the girls. But in the middle of all this, one of the men manages to escape. Tony chases after him, finds out where the police chief is hiding, and tells Jiang Su. Jiang Su then goes there and gives the police chief a serious beating. Soon after, the regular police show up and arrests Jiang Su, because the police chief is actually their senior officer. That's when Michael steps in and brings officers from the crime department to the scene. Actually, Michael was feeling really guilty. He believed Tony ended up in that condition because of him. So, he decided to surrender and handed over all the information about the police chief's illegal activities to the crime division. But just then, the police chief pulls out a gun and points it at them. At that exact moment, Tony spots a nearby dust bin, and he suddenly remembers something. There was a day when he had messed with that exact dust bin. He rushes over and starts trying to push a lever. He tries again and again, using all his strength. Finally, he manages to press it, and suddenly snowflakes start pouring down right over the police chief. Jiang Su immediately seizes the moment and jumps in, taking the police chief down. Right after that, the crime division officers arrive and arrest the police chief and his entire gang. And just like that, Tina and the other girls are saved. Tony thanks Jiang-Su for saving Tina and asks if he can help him one last time. Jiang-Su replies, "What I've done so far wasn't enough for you. Fine, just tell me what you need." Tony explains, "I've bought a house for my girlfriend. Please take her there and give her the keys." Later, Jiang-Su hands Tina the keys to the new house and explains everything. He tells her, "Close your eyes. When you open them, you'll see Tony." Tina closes her eyes, and when she opens them, she sees Tony standing in front of her. Tony says softly, "I never wanted to leave you like this, but who can escape fate? Please take care of yourself and our child. If you ever need help, go to Jiang-Su. Don't hesitate. He's a good man. I dreamed of living a happy life with you, but those dreams were crushed in a moment. Even in death, I'll always be watching over you." The scene then cuts to the hospital where Tony, still in a coma, has tears streaming down his face. They couldn't find a donor for Olivia, but now the doctors decide to take Tony's heart and transplant it into her. Tina agrees to go ahead with the surgery. A heart specialist is called in to perform the operation. When the doctor arrives, Jiang-Su suddenly feels like he's seen him before. Then it hits him. Earlier that morning, while driving with his family, he had helped rescue a man trapped in a car crash. That man was this doctor. Interestingly, the doctor also stares at Jiang-Su and says, "Have we met before? You look really familiar." Jiang-Su replies, "You had a car accident a few years ago. I was the one who pulled you out and called for an ambulance." The doctor's eyes widen. "Yes, I remember now. When I woke up in the hospital, I kept asking who saved me, but no one could tell me anything." Then he pauses and points toward the operating room. "By the way, that girl who's being operated on, who is she to you?" Django says softly, "She's my daughter." The doctor smiles and says with emotion, "Well, she's not just your daughter anymore. She's mine too." He tells them not to worry at all. "I won't charge a single penny for this surgery," he says, "and you don't have to think about money." Then he heads into the operation theater, performs the surgery carefully, and saves Olivia's life. For years, Jiang-Su had been blaming himself for what happened that day, thinking that if he had just minded his own business, maybe his wife would still be alive. But now, he finally realizes something. The same man he had stepped in to help that day is the one who just saved his daughter's life. A few days pass. One day, Jiang-Su is riding the bus when he sees the same thug harassing another elderly man. This time, Jiang-Su gets up from his seat, but the thug just laughs and says, "What's the matter? Is this your stop? Then get off." Jiang-Su calmly replies, "Yes, this is my stop, but it's yours too." And with that, he beats the thug and throws him off the bus. All the passengers cheer for him. The man who once hesitated to help anyone now tries his best to help everyone. Tina, who's now pregnant, comes to visit Jiang-Su gym. When she arrives, Olivia runs up to her, gives her a big hug, and excitedly shows her a drawing she made. It's of Tony, Tina, and their little baby together like a happy family. Then something emotional happens. Tina leans in and listens to Olivia's heartbeat and realizes it's actually Tony's heart beating inside her. That moment gives her strength. It feels like Tony is still right there with her. The scene cuts to the sky where Tony's soul is looking down at them, smiling peacefully. He's happy knowing his loved ones are okay. And that's where the story ends. Thank you for watching this beautiful story. If it touched your heart, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more inspiring tales. Until next time, take care and stay kind.